Nick Saban did that thing where he's like really rich, right? And he used to coach a football team and he quit coaching the football team. And now he's telling everybody that he stopped coaching the football team because all the kids care about is money. And so everybody is now jumping up on their soapboxes. Hey, now that you ain't got all the power, you got a problem with it. But can I be? I'm going to kind of sort of ride for Nick Saban on this. Hear me out. Obviously, the players being able to get money alters the power dynamic, which I think for those of us who have had the problems with the fact the players didn't get paid and the power dynamic as it was, you assume that any pushback against that could be very easily to be like, oh, now you got a problem because the players got a little power. Maybe. I think the problem that the coaches seem to have from the conversations I'm having is these little jokers is coming in asking for a raise every 15 minutes, right? Like the coaches have made a mistake in a lot of these places where they're the ones, like NIL in particular, they're the ones determining who gets the money. They're the ones determining who gets how much and everything else. But now this means you got a line of 90 people that's all coming to deal with you. I also think, to be fair to Saban, and I'd say probably a lot of his colleagues, I even might dare say the majority of his colleagues, there's a lot of money in coaching, obviously, but I do think a lot of these people get into it because they do want to work with young people. Like I think part of Saban leaving the NFL to come back to college was he realized he didn't like coaching pros. He preferred working with younger people. And there is a guidance, like I don't want to say that father stuff because that's going too far, but there is an element of guiding people through their lives. And this period of life is about growth as much as anything else. And if you know this and you think this, and the only thing that this person that you want to, like, you try to come mold this joke and he like, cool, but what that paper hitting for? Mm-hmm. I get why that's not the job that he signed up for and he doesn't want to do it. The problem is he got to go find somebody else to say this because ain't nobody trying to hear it from you.
I didn't listen to the whole thing all that closely, but I heard a lot of conversation about it. I frankly didn't find it too interesting, in part because I think I don't... And this is also, I think, speaking of myself, you talk about getting older. One of the things that I've like added to my life when I've got as a part of like maturing is understanding that nothing is all good and nothing is all bad. And while there are plenty of things about the previous system that I hated, there were things about it that were good. And there are plenty of things about the concept of money going to the players. Like, I love that. But like I also recognize there's plenty of shit about that sucks. And maybe Nick Saban is a spokesperson who's flawed, but that don't make what he's saying not true. So I also understand if I was a player who had this rare skill and I would be coming in talking, because that's what everybody does. You got something rare. What we talking about? How much you gonna pay for this? So the kids are behaving rationally in this screwed up system. The system is screwed up because the NCAA and all the presidents have been holding it hostage for this long, trying to not let it grow and develop along with the popularity and the finances of the game, trying to not let it mature into the professional sports league that it was destined to become. And by doing that, they're put in a position where they don't have the power. Y'all could have easily kept the power. Declare them employees, sign them to contracts. That's what we do. That's how this works. But you know what you did? Nothing. And you're like, all right, we'll do some you waited for the Supreme Court to tell you that what you was doing was messed up. And now it's the Wild West. So Nick Saban doesn't control that. And I'm fine. I appreciate him pointing out what the problem is. But we can't just jump on him and say, oh, Nick, guess you don't like having the power now, and pretend like that doesn't mean that there are plenty of things about this current situation that fucking stink.
Let me tell you something, man. I don't care what it is that we talking about, right? I don't care what the dynamics are. I don't care what's fair. I don't care what's right. I don't care what's game recognized game. I don't care about none of that. I'm 70 years old and some 19-year-old try to walk in my office and tell me what it's about to be. I don't care what the it is. This conversation is over. If I got to roll out, I'm like Waylon Jennings and We Are the World. Oh, we going to be singing some Swahili? Time for me to dip. I've heard enough. I can tell right now that this is not going to go in a direction that I find to be palatable to me and my sensibilities. Thanks for stopping. Nope. Gotta go.
And that's what Nick did. Like, that reminds me a bit of like the COVID stuff where like the lying about getting the shot was the problem and conducting yourself like you didn't get the shot was the problem. Like, if you wanted to make some sort of sacrifice based on the things that you believe, I'm all for people making sacrifices. But don't lie about it, forcing me or other people to be in a situation. So, like, Nick Saban is not staying in this thing and complaining about how much it sucks. He was like, you know what? I done did it. This sucks.
Yep.
I'm gone.
Yep.
Hey, guys, you know that shit over there? It sucks. Why don't y'all go figure that out? Nothing's wrong with that, Nick.
Yeah, he's like, look, I know the people that's in charge here, dog. They are not going to come up with some solution because they're going to need to come up with something. It can't, what it is just seems like outright chaos. And so I think the problem that people have is, and I get this, is that they're accustomed to people making the argument that you should not move toward progress because if you move toward progress, it is going to cause chaos. And thereby the assumption is made on the front end that the chaos thing is merely a scare tactic. It's not really going to be chaos. That's just what you say to make this stop. No. The move toward progress is correct morally, right? I don't have any question about that. But that does not mean that the chaos argument is not true. And if you look around, this is, in fact, chaos. Like, I don't think that with the current state of affairs is really that helpful for anybody, including the players. I don't care what these checks are that are being cut. I do not believe making moves on these timetables that these dudes are making moves on is ultimately going to be good for them. I think the money, the smart money, is to stay somewhere. Like, negotiate what you can every year. And somebody else wants to throw some money out there, negotiate what you can to stay. But your long money is to be in part of a community where those people remember you. And that's how you get the job at the car dealership after you're done. And you could be slinging them cars forever, right? That's the game that you need to be playing.
Agreed. But that's really hard to convince somebody because on the other side, they believe that they're giving themselves the best chance at the big payday by moving. Presumably. I think the dangerous thing is if you're moving from school to school for a larger NIL check, that to me is a mistake. If you're moving from school to school because you believe, like Joe Burrow, nobody going to tell me that Joe Burrow made the wrong decision to go to LSU. And I'm sure there's lots of other examples like that. I mean, Penix last year, there are lots of examples of people moving from one place to another and ended up having success. There are probably more examples of people failing, but it's hard for me to criticize them for doing what they think is going to give them the best chance at the next level. If you move from school to school for $100,000 extra, I get it. It's a lot of money. But if it ain't helping you for the next level, you're costing yourself probably hundreds of thousands of dollars based on the relationships and the commitment and community that you were talking about before. That's worth more than $100,000 right now.
Yeah, I don't think Joe Burrow made a mistake because Joe Burrow was a sophomore and had just lost his job to somebody that was younger than him and was going to be there for a minute, right? His move was a wise move. The guy that I thought made a bad move was Quinn Ewers, who did not beat out he left school early, okay? Did not beat out C.J. Stroud, and so he came to Texas. But the truth is he was only going to be sitting behind C.J. Stroud for 2 years. And what he would have been doing last year was throwing the ball to this one dude. You know what I'm saying? He'd have been throwing the ball to probably the best wide receiver in college football. That could have been him, right? And look, throwing it to Xavier Worthy, there's worse ways you could have done it. But you could have been up there. Quinn Ewers is probably getting drafted in the top 10 this year, I think, if he stayed at Ohio State.
I mean, I don't disagree with you. I think that's probably evaluating each situation. And you never know what the exact right decision is, but understanding the long-term view. And Quinn Ewers might have thought that they was going to go recruit somebody else over him. And he had a guarantee to get on the field at a great school, like a top-tier school like Texas. He took that chance.
But here's my thing. If you as good as he was supposed to be, right? And this is a super high level 5-star recruit and everything else. What's this? You going to recruit somebody over me? You can try.
Right.
But if you the dude you talk about being, you going to beat out. Like he's beating out Arch Manning now, for example, right? Arch Manning ain't going to start there until Quinn is out of there. You got to have some confidence in yourself. Like that's what gets me about like the freshman, the quarterback that leaves because they didn't beat out somebody a year or two over them. No, this job is going to be yours if you're the person you're supposed to be. And whatever reasons you had to decide to go there in the first place are probably holding steady. But all you have to do is put up 1 year of film. I think that's the part that gets me when these dudes make all these moves is all you need is 1 year of film. That's it. You don't need to play as a freshman. You just need to put up 1 year of film.
This is like the the human equivalent of like necessity is the mother of invention. When you don't have no options, sometimes you find a little something that you needed that you didn't know you had. And I think we all have been in that situation before where maybe you fell short because you ain't had no choice. But I think that's probably part of the intended or unintended logic about like getting married. You tie all your finances and everything up. Like, you know what it is? It's fundamentally the reason for the European Union. We gonna tie all our shit together. We got no recourse. We gotta all be okay. Because you know what happens when we are not tied together? War.
Beef.
Like, we have other options. Beef. Yeah. And I think that there's something to be said for like, I'm gonna tie like that. You can't fake scarcity. You know, you can't fake. And I think we all have experiences where you trying to write a paper 2 weeks early, you can't get nothing on that page, but somehow you just get struck by some. That happened for the speech that I was talking about. I was trying to write that speech for a week and a half, couldn't get nothing on the page. Night before though, words was flowing.
That focus, boy. You look like you about that Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? You own it. Prize Picks is the most fun you can have by winning up to 25 times your money. And with the football season over, you can still win money with basketball and hockey. You just select 2 or more players, pick more or less on their projected stats, and place your entry. You can pick combo projections across multiple sports from the Specials League, a league created specifically for combo projections that includes 2 or more players from different sports or leagues. Prize Picks is really simple to play. You can make your picks and submit your entry in less than 60 seconds. So make sure you go to prizepicks.com/Bomani and use code Bomani for a first deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com/Bomani. Prize Picks, daily fantasy sports made easy.